Hi everyone, Merry Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas!
Eve.
It's the eve of the
Eve?
eve. Who's Eve?
Who's Eve?
It's the eve of Christmas Eve. So, Merry Christmas, and Christmas is one of my favorite times of the year, right, honey?
It is.
And why is it one of my favorite times of the year?
Because you like getting stuff for me.
I do. I can't wait for him to open up his presents.
I'm kind of neutral on getting her
It
stuff.
is so exciting.
She's tough to shop for.
Yeah, I am. But anyway, I give him clues throughout the year.
I got great stocking stuffers.
He has the best stocking stuffers. Maybe we should do another video on Christmas Day, and we can show everybody your presents.
Nobody's gonna watch it.
Nobody's gonna watch it. I got him the best presents, and they really weren't very expensive. Actually, there's 2 presents that were less than $30 that you are going to be so excited. And I'm so excited to watch you open these presents. So yes, Christmas is my favorite time of the year. It's magical. And, so we're here to talk to you today about, is it better to give or to receive? So it's a great question. And what comes into your mind when you think about that? And as we go into the holiday season and you give and hopefully you receive, how does that make you feel? It really gives us clues into some things that are kind of important around our prosperity and our worth that we're going to talk about today, because it's really important. So my answer to the question is that I like both, and Chris can attest to this, because you see how excited I get about Chris opening up his presents, because I can't wait for him to open his presents, and I almost forget that I'll have some presents too.
Which she told me what to get.
Well, yeah, I had to email him links to websites and all this stuff.
Because she's that.
And the size, I like,
hard.
Honey, my size, you don't just walk into the store and take something off the rack and it fits me. It just doesn't work like that. So here's what you have to do, and you have to order it online, and here's the deal. So it's very complicated, of course. However, I do love to give presents, don't I?
Yep.
And I love to receive presents.
Yep.
So I like them both, but for different reasons. So, we were talking about this earlier this morning, and, about, is it better to give or receive? So you had an epiphany and some things that happened that you heard of years ago that really made an impression on you.
Well, most people are horrible receivers. I mean, one of the things that pushes away your wealth more than anything is feeling like you don't deserve it. And, when we're born as babies, we have no problem deserving. We're, spitting up and snotting and pooping and, and when somebody holds a baby, they don't go, it's just a baby, or, that baby doesn't deserve it. The baby has no confusion about whether they deserve love, deserve to have things. So they're pretty good receivers. And then we just get programmed with some garbage along the way that we're not good enough, or we're not this, we're not that, and we buy these stories. But most people are they're horrible at receiving, which is something I actually had to do some work on. And I
helped him with all my great Christmas presents.
So, but receiving and deserving of a great life, a big life, an abundant life. And, one of the things that causes people not to receive is they haven't forgiven themselves for something, right? They did something, they never forgave themselves, they beat themselves up over it, and then they have this story of less than, not good enough, not deserving. And so because they keep saying that, they're not really, really good receivers. And then there's some people that are great givers, and they give, but they have these horrible receiving muscles, like they don't deserve it. And we were talking about several people that we know. I mean, they're unbelievable givers, but man, they struggle so much around money and wealth. And I heard a speaker, years ago was talking about, and it's a concept in The Richest Man in Babylon, where the guy's like, I worked and I worked and I worked and I worked, and where's my gold? And he just said, hey, you can give, but if you don't have good receiving muscles, which is what we're talking about here, he said the karma check's not showing up, because it's not going to show up. You can keep give, and you're not going to receive, because you're blocking your wealth and you're blocking abundance. And I know wonderful people, and there's horrible receivers,
right?
And
but great givers,
phenomenal,
very giving
givers.
people, which is awesome. But sometimes it's painful to watch somebody that's a great giver when you really want them to be able to receive because they deserve it, and you see that. But for some reason they don't see that, and that can be
and they don't get that there is joy in giving, and they're blocking your joy
for someone else to give them something
of giving,
right?
and then we all and it's always like kind of this paradox, right? You got giving over here, you got receiving over here, and it'd be nice if we were kind of in the middle with things, but sometimes. I get a little more over here where I'm all about my goals and I want to get some things done, and then, you're not really giving anything. You're not really starting the receiving flow by giving. And there's and we know people that are just take, give. And, when we aren't flowing, or I don't feel like our business is flowing, I know it's because, oh man, I got to get a little more. I've gotten too over here. And I got to start giving, and then you just those people that don't do that, and so people don't want to reciprocate. People that are just receivers, takers, and so it's this flow. And Marlow said it's both, and that's what when she interviewed all these wealthy people in the book. Middle class is like you either give or you receive. Wealthy are like nope, give and receive. Right. It's both. It's the same thing.
Right, yeah, so incredibly important. So if you're just joining us, I'm Marlow Felton, and this is the great Chris Felton. And, I'm noticing it kind of looks like there's a reflection on the mirror behind me. It looks kind of like I have a halo. Oh. I think it's a Christmas miracle.
I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Honey, it's a Christmas miracle. I have a halo. You see that?
If you only knew.
It's funny.
If you only knew.
It is funny. I am a very nice person, but I wouldn't necessarily call myself an angel. Oh my gosh. So we're talking about whether it's better to give or to receive. And so we've been talking about how both are really important. Giving, obviously, to give to others because it feels good. And it feels good to me. I love to give, but also to receive. A lot of people are not good receivers. And actually, I posted this in our Couples Money Forum a few days ago.
I love the Couples Money Forum.
It's awesome. And so we got some responses, some people saying, oh, I like to give. I like to, receive. And one of our forum members hit us back, and she said, this is a quote, "It makes my heart happy to give. I also like to receive." So that was her post that she posted back to my question, is it better to give or to receive? And so I hit her back and I said, nice job, because that's what I wanted to hear, because it's really a great answer. And so if you have feelings of, just you're stuck on, well, gosh, I feel weird receiving, don't beat yourself up. We're not saying there's anything wrong with you or it's a bad thing, because so many people do have a difficult time with that, right? I mean, we're not saying there's anything wrong, but it's something to just be aware of. So on Christmas, notice how you're feeling when you're giving and when you're receiving, because there is a direct correlation between that and wealth in your life. So if you have a hard time receiving and that's uncomfortable for you, really think about why that might be uncomfortable for you. And it might be a good time for you to reflect on those feelings, and it might uncover something that's bringing up some undesirable results in your life. Because at the end of the day, if you have undesirable results in your life, then it's time to kind of look at what is running that. And so this is a great opportunity to take a look at your giving and receiving muscles, so to speak, and work on that, and just be aware of what it is. And so if it's something that you don't like, or you'd like to change, now that if you become aware of it, then that gives you the information that you need to make some changes, which could be really powerful. Especially if you have a really hard time receiving and you're struggling financially, there could be something there that you could learn that could potentially change your life. So that's why we like sharing this stuff, because it's cool.
Yeah, well, and what you need to understand, and to take it from a business standpoint, is people like to give. I mean, that's always been, part of my business planning, my weekly business planning. I don't always hit it, but it's a goal that I want to make at least 4 quality introductions, referrals, connections for other people. And it's not because, okay, if I give, then I'm going to receive, and so it's not like you give, and then you're like looking for it over here, right? As far as receiving, it's just you want to get that flow going. And I've had, just different people that we mentor around the country, and they're like, okay, if you came into my backyard, what would you do if you didn't know anyone? I'm like, I'd start networking, I'd get connected, I'd have coffees, and I would make almost every conversation about the other person and figure out what I can do to get people connected and networked up. And there's a guy, I think they called the man of 10 million friends, and I posted it in Couples Money Forum. And nobody ever knew what he did. But he was a multi-billionaire. And the guy just spent his whole career basically connecting and giving, but also understanding that he was a good receiver. And just look, go out. It's a beautiful day here in Colorado. I mean, the give-receive thing is what nature's all about, right? The bees, they fertilize the flowers, right, or whatever. They drop their pollen on the flowers.
Don't talk about the birds and the bees. They're not ready for that.
No, but I mean, the bees and and the flowers give this, and I mean, all of nature is a giving and receiving. I mean, going back to like science in junior high, right? There's carbon dioxide and there's oxygen, and so all I'm saying is
he's so smart.
No, I'm not. But it's just so all I'm saying is when you guys understand. There's a natural flow of give and receive in nature, and then what happens is our human brains kind of jack it up. We kind of screw it up, and we're like, I don't deserve it. It's like, the tree's not out there going, well, I don't really deserve. No, it's getting everything it needs, right? The sun, the water, the nutrients from the ground. Like, it's not sitting there, well, I'm an undeserving tree. That's stupid. And so any limiting BS story around giving and receiving, it's just something that we created it's actually out of alignment with universal laws in nature. And so the way you get wealthier is just get back in alignment with the way stuff is and get the human component out of it. Right,
which actually reminds me, well, and just if you're just joining us, I just want to tell you, I'm Marlow Felton with a halo. It's a Christmas miracle. I have a halo. There's a reflection that's giving me a halo today, which is amazing. And this is my husband, Chris Felton. We're talking about whether it's better to give or to receive. And we're talking about why it's important to be able to do both. And if you are not comfortable with one or the other, or you're not as good at one or the other, then it's time to really think about where those feelings come from and be aware of those feelings, because that's going to tell you your underlying sense of worth in regards to money. I do believe that there is a direct correlation. So it's Christmas time. It's a great time to be aware of that. And Chris is talking about the tree. Yeah, so the tree outside isn't outside going, oh my gosh, I don't deserve this sunshine. And it's so true. And think about it with other things in our life, because so many people have this hang up about money and that it's bad or it's this, and we put all this energy on it. But when at the end of the day, money's kind of important, because we need money to take care of our families. We need money to be healthy and to stay healthy and for shelter and, for so many things. And we also need air. Don't we all need air?
Yep.
But do we sit around going, oh, it's air? That air. Yeah.
Air's
she
the
likes
root, air. The love of air is the root of all evil.
She's sucking up all the air. Look at how deep she's breathing. Wow. She's a bad person. No, we don't do that. So why do we do that with money? It's crazy, isn't it? Have you ever thought about that? I mean, yeah, I was thinking about that. So really, think about your giving and receiving muscles over the holiday season. I don't know if you wanted to add anything about that, but
no, this is just something to ponder and think on, and just hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being, man, I'm a great receiver and I know I deserve it, and 1 like I don't deserve it, I'm a piece of whatever. Just rate yourself, and just the number that comes into your head, and so what can I do to increase that? And there's a great resource out there, a book called Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth, that he probably, I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying it, so he probably writes about this concept of giving and receiving and what he would call, a beautiful flow of life of this giving and receiving. That book was amazing for me to just get me to understand that it's all harmonious, it's all one thing, and they're not actually give or, it's just
both.
It's the way the law works. So
right.
That's a good book.
Yeah.
Good resource.
Well, thanks for joining us. And my husband now knows that he is married to an angel because I have a halo.
Right. They're done.
They're done with that.
All right.
No, but before we go, if you would like direct mentorship from us, we have a 4-week program coming up over after the first of the year. Starts on January the 16th. It's the Couples Money Masterclass, and it's a 4-week deep dive. It's interactive, so you'll have hands-on deep dive Q&A live with Chris and I during those 4 weeks. It's every Tuesday for 4 weeks. And click the link so you can find out a little bit more about that if you're interested in a great early bird special we're doing for that to kick off 2018 for you. So check it out, and guys, have a great Christmas and have fun giving.
Merry Christmas.
And receiving. And
Happy holidays.
Chris is getting some great Christmas presents, and it's going to be exciting.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.